on the spin and execute. Boom, caution, extra left.
With the dawn of a new era on the horizon, it's time to awaken the sleeping lion. Time to rise and go to war. Hear our cries now, hear us roar. A team with great prospect has now come forth, who fight for our pride and who fight for the North. Together we march, success in our sight, achieving our goals and reaching new heights. Heroes of old and heroes of new, the brave and the bold, they bind us like glue. Stars will be born out on the wicket. Now begins a new chapter at Durham Cricket.
Oh, that's six. That's a biggie.
Lovely use of the feet. Excellent from Travaskis.
And he's gone.
We rose from the dust of the coalfields.
A dream of bringing professional cricket.
30 years later, we stand together.
With many successes on and off the field.
A trophy cabinet full of silverware.
A professional pathway for boys.
And girls in the north.
And community programmes that both enhance.
And transcend the sport in our region. But we want to achieve more.
We want to reach every corner of society.
Welcoming players for people of all backgrounds.
Supporting the community to which we belong.
We We want to be at the forefront of inspiring generation.
Inspiring people to be better players.
Better people.
Better members of society.
We are working hard to welcome everybody.
Developing inclusive environments.
With a commitment to encourage
equity,
diversity
and inclusion in everything we do.
We aim to make a positive change across cricket.
our wider community.
We must be accountable.
Cricket is a game for everyone.
Our programmes are for everyone.
Seat Unique Riverside is for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North, for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North, for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North, for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North, for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North, for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North for everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North and everyone.
Durham Cricket for the North, for everyone.
We've always been good at designing niche products for consumers. So our thinking was if we can use the same design skills on products which have got more volume, we'll be more successful. The big issue was the plan to do it. We set a figure of a capacity to make 250,000 pieces a year. That's an ambitious target, but that's our figure. So we then worked with the machinery designers to make the washing machines. Number one in this product, it's got to be reliable. A washing machine has a lot of hard work to do, and it's a very important part of most households. So reliability was a big issue. I think any new product, we've got to learn about it, and that's important. We've got to learn about it so we understand it inside out. And that's taken longer than we expected, but we've taken our time to make sure that it's right. There's a big appetite for buying British products, and rightly so. But we can't rely on that. We've got to make a product that competes with all the imports. And of course, remember, we've got our core business here of making domestic dehumidifiers and bottled water coolers and industrial dehumidifiers. So that takes our time, and we don't want to get this wrong. We've done 120,000 hours of testing washing machines here to make sure that it's absolutely reliable and does the job.
Rod Stewart. In concert.
this is flicked down through third man by Milan. Off Potts, there's nobody there. It's vacant. The pub is open. It's gone for 4. 2 balls to go in this over. Potts bowls to Bairstow, who cuts that out through the covers, and that should go away for 4 towards the Castle stand.
Still short leg in place, but most of the deliveries from Ajaz Patel have been aimed out off stumpish, and this one is wide of off stump, and that's a lovely shot by Johnny Bairstow.
In comes Rain. That one. Oh, they're claiming it. It's got him. He's got him. Milan is gone. Here he comes again. Oh, what a catch! What a catch from Ollie Robinson! And that is the end of Johnny Bairstow. He's gone for 36.
Non-striking end as Patel bowls the first ball of the over to George Hill, who steps back. It's too short, and his short arm jabbed that away wide of mid-on. So competing against his own county mate for a place. Beautiful shot this from Matthew Revis to deep backward square. And Delayed has bowled him. Oh dear me, now that was a daisy cutter. And your heart goes out to Matthew Revis.
What's in? Pulled, and that should go for 4. Patel's out there, but I don't think he's going to get to it. Way out of deep mid-wicket, the first 50 of the match. Oh, big appeal for LBW, and that is the end of Dom Bess.
I'm talking him up here, and he'll probably get out the next one. Oh, no.
Balls. Oh, good catch. Great catch that from David Bedingham at second slip. And that's the end of Hill for 51.
Here is Delader again, and Thompson nicely glances this one off his legs, and that was well timed by Jordan Thompson.
Round the wicket from the Lumley end. He's appealing, and that's out.
Yep. Wouldn't necessarily get frustrated or take those risks. Then again, we do sometimes see it now. Big shout here for LBW, and that's it. So we now know that Durham will need 246 runs to win this match.
7 for none, Durham, as Lees waits for this one and drives out through the covers. That's got the legs to go for 4 up towards the Health Club.
As Fisher bowls to Lees, played it nicely. Matthew Fisher over pitching. Fisher, Lees this time gets the ball wide of off stump, and that's gone for 4 as well. So, untidy with the ball here.
It's coming round the wicket now, and that's a 4. Nicely turned out through mid-wicket by Lees. Ball comes in. It's demolished Lees' stumps. There's 2 of them out the ground. Well, this is quite the riposte from Fisher.
Thompson going over the wicket and cracked away for 4. That's a lovely shot by Jones.
Nice shot, but that's a poor ball.
Thompson around the wicket again. And there he is. That is not a defensive position. It's an attacking position. And Dominic Best takes the catch.
Revis in to finish the over, and Bedingham turns this beautifully off his pads, and he'll run away for 4.
Absolute eye popper. Good delivery from Hill. Has he got him? Here he has. George Hill has come on again and taken a wicket.
Runs in, bowls, and Jones cuts this beautifully off the back foot, and that will be his half century. Very, very assured innings from Michael Jones. Hill is in, and Jones is aggressively flashing this towards the boundary. It could run for 4 again, and it will. Edge and gone. Robinson flashing at one outside the off stump.
Bowler comes in again and bowls. Oh, and he's looking to turn that through the leg side. He's gone. I thought that was too high, and Jones looks stunned to be given out there. Fisher from the Lumley end. Through the leader, he's bowled in middle stump. He's played on, and this is now swinging drastically towards Yorkshire. Here comes the bowler, and edge from Rain through the slip cordon along the floor and down to third man for 4.
Here is Thompson. Oh, he's got him.
Another one.
He's made it happen again, and it's Clark this time who chops on. End of the ground. Oh, good delivery. First up, big shout. Gone. It looked a good shout, and Jordan Thompson has taken 2 in 2. I'll have one of our commentary cohort happy as Thompson's in. Now that's aerial from Ben Rain. He's going to pick up 4 runs. Durham on 213 for 8. Rain on 32. Potts on 13.
Ryan, I don't know if you'll be pleased that you're still in this one or annoyed that you haven't won it.
Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? It's been an exciting 3 days so far. I think both teams have had the supremacy at times, but the facts are we're still in it. We're 34 runs away. We've got 2 blokes who are batting okay, and we got an injured guy sitting there waiting to go as well. So, look, all you need is a hero, and maybe we need 2 of them or maybe 3 of them, and hopefully tomorrow morning that comes up.
Well, it's fitting that Matty Potts and Ben Rain got 4 wickets each, and then, you know, it was those 2 who were crucial at the end. I think 73 runs still needed when you were 8 down. We weren't sure at that point if Bryden Carse was going to be able to come and bat again, and they saw the game through to the end of the day, including the extra 9 overs.
Yeah, I was wondering if we got to have the choice of taking 30 minutes for us as well. We might have got them tonight, but look, they've been fantastic, and I think it's one of those wickets that we've seen that if you can show discipline and try and keep out the tough ones. You have to bat a little bit of length of time to score, and that's what they've done. And like I say, mate, we're still in the game, and we'll come tomorrow hopeful. Yorkshire obviously probably think they're the favourites, and hopefully we can change that.
Ollie Robinson said last night it was a wicket where even if you were getting runs, you were never actually convinced you were in, and if a ball had your name on it, we've seen quite a lot of low bounce. And the other thing is, I can't remember a game where so many batsmen have got inside edges and dragged on.
Yeah, that's one of those things. But in the end of the day, what would you prefer, 700 each or a result? And, the facts are, we're getting results here at Riverside. So for me, I'm still smiling. I'm still happy. I think we're getting in positions. The thing is, though, even though you could say about the wicket, it might be a little bit up and down, we've been in positions where I think we've been dominant, and a poor shot has, brought to that dismissal. We've got ourselves to blame as well, and we're not going to put any dispersions on the wicket. Like I say, 34 runs away from a memorable victory.
Your thoughts on Michael Jones? He batted nicely. I think you're unlucky with that decision.
Yeah, well, the facts are Jonesy, could play second fiddle because Alex Lees batted beautifully at the start of the innings and really ignited us in the run chase. So Jonesy batted well. Look, was it a bit higher? Probably, but it's one of those things. You take those and you push on. But I think for the evolution of Michael Jones, he continues to become a better cricketer, and I think we're excited of what he could become. And he's still got a long way to go, and he's learning all the time. And hopefully, one day the finished product's going to be pretty special to watch.
And a blow this morning, the news that Bryden Carse wouldn't be able to play today unless needed to bat. You're thinking then, well, Johnny Bairstow's still in, David Milan's still in, you're a seam bowler down, a quick down, going to be a job to try and sort this out and get through that partnership. But the rest of the lads came to the party, didn't they?
Well, that's the thing, that's what I'm so proud of. Bairstow, Milan were batting beautifully, and they had set their platform almost, and it got to the point where they were, I think, almost 200 in front, or 180 or 190 in front, and you think, if they get another 100 here, we're probably maybe out of the game. But the lads never gave up. They kept trucking in, and I thought they bowled really well. Rain, Potts, Delader at times, which is a good sign for us that our bowling strength is still going well. Ajax is just fitting in nicely. He'll do a really good job on most occasions. So, look, the facts are we're probably going to be without Bryden for a little while now. So that's the part of county cricket. You're going to have injuries. It's elite sport. Blokes get injured, and you have to have the backups. And we got Coughlin ready to go, hopefully for next week as well. So, it's disappointing. I think I'm more disappointed just for Bryden because he's had such a great start to the year. I think everyone agrees that when you're talking Ashes, he was a name that was coming up. He was batting beautifully and bowling with pace. So, obviously it's disappointing. It's a setback, but we'll keep his chin up. We'll get him right, and hopefully if he comes in tomorrow, whacks a few sixes, and he can walk away. I think if they get another 100 here, we're probably maybe out of the game. But the lads never gave up. They kept trucking in, and I thought they bowled really well. Rain, Potts, Delader at times, which is a good sign for us that our bowling strength is still going well. Ajax is just fitting in nicely. He'll do a really good job on most occasions. So, look, the facts are we're probably going to be without Bryden for a little while now. So that's the part of county cricket. You're going to have injuries. It's elite sport. Blokes get injured, and you have to have the backups. And we got Coughlin ready to go, hopefully for next week as well. So, It's disappointing. I think I'm more disappointed just for Bryden because he's had such a great start to the year. I think everyone agrees that, you know, when you're talking Ashes, he was a name that was coming up. He was batting beautifully and bowling with pace. So, yeah, obviously it's disappointing. It's a setback, but, you know, we'll keep his chin up. We'll get him right, and hopefully if he comes in tomorrow, whacks a few sixes and he can walk away.
So that was Ryan Campbell, the Durham coach there. And the worry, of course, as he said, that elite sportsmen get injured, and hint that Bryden Carse may be out for some time. But he did say at the start of that interview that Bryden Carse would come into bat today if needed. So we're just a few moments away from play. I've already had a couple of emails in. Mervyn Hardy's emailed. He says, "Good morning, Martin. We're not attending today, but regardless of the outcome of the cliffhanger, I see no reason for despair." And welcome to listeners on 5 Sports Extra. He said, after the treatment of the club from the ECB a few years ago, it's now rebuilt and it's in a strong position, and our young team are the envy of a lot of allegedly bigger sides. Thanks to you for your great efforts, and tell those who aren't happy with the commentary to go and listen to something else, he says. So there you go. I think we've had a lot of positivity this week compared to the 2 complaints from earlier in the week. So this is the situation then. This literally could be over in 2 deliveries, or it could go on for half an hour, it could go on for an hour. Durham resuming on 213 for 8. They need 33 more to win. Matthew Potts has 13, Ben Rain has 32. Their partnership's worth 40. And there's quite a few in, actually. I was just sort of counting numbers in the stands a few minutes ago, and I got about 100, and I'm looking up now, and there's quite a few more have come in the last few minutes. So, Martin Emerson with you here from BBC Radio Newcastle, Jonathan Dodge from BBC Radio Leeds, and we've got Rob Rush with us as well. So Rob's decided to forfeit his Sunday lie-in.
I had nothing else planned today, so might as well come in and commentate on what should be an exciting end to this game. I was half expecting it to be wrapped up last night, but Yorkshire had other ideas.
Well, just the new ball, could it be an issue yet, couldn't it? That's due in 10 overs time.
Okay, I'm going to... good morning, everyone, by the way. I'm just going to attempt to clarify that claiming of the extra half hour last night. I've just been and spoken to the scorers. I know they're not the umpires, but they're around the far side of the ground, just to ask what the situation is in that respect, because there was an insinuation that the umpires had decided that they were going to stay on an extra 30 minutes. I thought, that can't be right. It must be the captains or
well, it's offered to them,
or a representative from one of the sides, not necessarily a captain, I suppose, if you're one of the 2 Durham batters who's not a skipper. And as they understand it, one of the captains needs to have taken the decision to carry on when offered that extra half hour by the umpires. So the umpires, I think, get to that stage where they think the result is possible. We'll offer you the extra half hour. Yep. Do you want to take it? We don't know. The thing is, we don't know here who said yes, whether it was Yorkshire, whether it was Shan Masood out there, or whether it was either one of the 2 Durham batters or a message came on from Scott Borthwick, the Durham skipper.
Yeah.
Tim's sitting at the back. Tim might know. No idea. No.
Been to the gym again, Tim? You been to the gym again? You're going after this, right? All right. So Tim Bostock, the Durham chief executive, came and sat with us last night for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes in his gym gear, and Durham didn't lose a wicket, so he's returned in the same gym gear today.
So it could be a gym session that's either euphoric, and you're doing a sort of Rocky theme on your headset, or it could be getting a lot of angst and frustration out, couldn't it, Tim?
Yeah. As for the extra half hour, it's not controversial. It happens all the time. And I remember at Derby, I think it was a couple of years ago, they took the extra half hour, then got Durham 9 down, and then took another half an hour on top of that, around about tea. So
George Hill's going to open then from this Finkel end. Have we got an update to do?
It will be in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay. Hill then in and round the wicket, bowling to the left-handed Ben Rain, and immediately Durham have reduced that requirement to 32 runs with a push there up to Mickey Edwards, who's been a man that they consistently took on yesterday. He's just set back a few extra yards, and that could be vital in a situation like this. Maybe Shan Masood, I don't know whether he's considered asking him to come up a yard or 2, but he's been kind of a bit on the back foot, and they've pushed quite a few singles to him.
Looking at this, if it doesn't go Durham's way today, Sussex could end up top with a win against Leicestershire, who are following on.
Potts flicking this latest Hill delivery down towards long leg. They've taken one. They're probably not going to take too many risky twos if they don't need to, and that was a case in point. On another day, they might have got there and turned and tested out Matthew Revis, who came in to do the throw, but they didn't. It's a glorious morning again.
Tell you what, there's a couple of hundred in now, isn't there? I didn't think there'd be many here, but...
well, free entry, I think, is...
Well, yeah, but...
Be a few Yorkshire people in if it's free entry. 175 of them are from Yorkshire.
I'm expecting Joe Root to turn up out of the blue somehow.
Hill, number 18 on his back, comes in past umpire Paul Baldwin, and that is dropped out into the offside this time by Rain. Exciting finishing prospect. Everyone buzzing here this morning. Who's going to win it? Said to the officials, come on then, call it. And I got back. Durham, maybe.
I've got
Yorkshire, maybe. Tie, maybe.
I've got 11:34 as a time in my head.
I went 11:45.
Here we go.
Hill to...
Well, this is a really nervy one, this. Durham resuming this morning, 8 down and needing another 33 runs to beat Yorkshire. They were doing splendidly at tea yesterday, not really in any trouble at all. 109 for 2 and then lost 6 wickets for 47 runs, and suddenly the game turned on its head, and that was when Ben Rain and Matthew Potts brought a bit of stability and calmness to proceedings. They put 40 on last night, and they've added another couple this morning. So there's a few in as well to watch this one. It could be over in just 2 deliveries. It could be half an hour or an hour, but either way, a lot riding on this one. Commentary on the BBC website and the sports app.
Just a couple of dots then, bowled Hill to Rain. One left in this opening over of the morning. There are not other things at play here for the fielding side, as there sometimes are in situations like this, like trying to quickly around the field because of the over rates and those sort of things. Yorkshire have had a couple of those in the last year or two. So dot ball to finish that over. Ben Rain just pushing back to George Hill, but they're +1 on that side of things. They can relax and just try and bowl the best they can. That's not a bad start, but they haven't got the early wicket.
I did point out last night, because of those extra 9 overs, the day would be 9 overs shorter, so there's now 87 overs left instead of 95. If we're still here at tea time tonight, something strange has happened.
That's weird. The weather is more than likely
a weather event or something.
If we're still there at tea time tonight, not only will you have told us all about your previous holidays, I'm guessing you'll have told us where you're going in 24, 25, 26, maybe even 35, 36, something like that. Retirement holiday, perhaps?
Yeah. You might be telling us about places you will never go to again.
If we're still here at tea time, it'd probably be Chestnut Street, one of them.
Yeah. Right, here we go. Jordan Thompson, right arm over from the Lumley end, bowls to Potts. It's a full delivery right towards the bottom of off stump. He plays it up to Masood at mid on, no run there. Bernard's emailed. He says the new ball might not be required today, but if it is, Durham will be much closer to winning than they are now. So what do the Durham batsers do in the 10 overs up to a second new ball? Be positive in both batting and running. He said, I'd hate the game to be decided by timid shots trying to stay in.
I don't think you're going to get that under Ryan Campbell.
No. Bernard was the one who pointed out yesterday morning it was 50-1 for the tie. As Thompson comes in again, that's a beautiful drive from Matty Potts down the ground, being chased by Masood. He'll get 2 here. Really nicely timed. He's put that between mid-on and the stumps.
Ken Lashley from Norwich says, morning, Jonathan. We've had 3 good days at the Riverside, our first visit. Lovely ground, some food vans, brackets, unlike our visit to Trent Bridge a few years ago, and pleasant people. We're a bit surprised that much of the crowd goes home at tea time, a bit like Scarborough, maybe. And to the game, Yorkshire just seemed to be marking time towards the end of yesterday, he says.
It's Fisher bowling, actually, the scoreboard said Thompson. That's turned out through mid-wicket. It was in the air momentarily, but it's away safely to deep mid-wicket to Best for 1 run.
But he thinks Yorkshire lacked the killer instinct. Did they ask for the extra half hour, or is that just down to the umpires nowadays? Well, there you go. Hopefully you caught my little chat about that in a minute or 2 ago. He says, I read one report that the bowlers were shattered, but they hadn't bowled a whole day. 17 overs max. Perhaps Yorkshire need a new fitness coach.
80, who's in Tuscany, which started our conversation about holidays yesterday, is has tweeted as Fisher's going to come round the wicket here to Rain from the Lumley end. Rain drives, and that's out towards the cover boundary. There's a fielder right out there who slides in and cut it off. I think it's Hill. And they run 2. Nice shot there from Rain, a half volley. And
Down to just 26 for the win.
yeah, outfield's not quick, is it?
No, a couple of them have held
I'm
up.
surprised the drive from Potts, and certainly that one didn't reach the boundary.
I don't think Potts got all of it. He seemed a little bit early through the shot, but I was expecting it to travel a little bit further than it did. And as you said there, the drive from Rain not quite reaching the fence.
Start of the day.
26 to win, defended by Rain. Katie says, I'm glad the game's made it 2 today. I was nervously watching the score under the table at a wedding reception last night, but it's more fun to be able to listen to the denouement on the radio. Ah, so she's in Tuscany for a wedding.
So again,
the denouement. I think that means the end. How would you pronounce it?
No, it's just I just loved it. Say it again, will you? Just in the accent, as opposed to the denouement.
Denouement. Fisher in. Rain pushes that off towards the cover boundary for 1. Every run being eagerly applauded here. Weather-wise, you kind of get vexed with this, can you? It's a lovely day. Gentle easterly breeze, southeasterly breeze.
Yeah, cracking out. I'd just say, in response to the comment about the outfield, it's just early day, isn't it? So even though I'm not sure whether or not they roped off any dew off the outfield, I didn't see that myself if they did. But
Don't think
it
so,
might
no.
be just a little bit heavier maybe than it will be in an hour's time, even when it's had a chance to burn a bit more off. And in an hour's time,
when
I think we're probably doing post-match interviews.
It's been a very good start so far from Durham. Already knocked off 8 runs off the required total from last night, and still early days, but at least they've come out. They're not looking to hide away.
So George Hill round the wicket to Rain, who shot this away square on the offside. There is a sweeper out there, Matthew Revis, and they're going to have to settle for the 1. They're cutting off those boundaries. They set this sort of field yesterday. That was the last change.
At some point, if they can't stop these singles, they're going to have to take the slip fielder out the cordon.
Yeah, and they're probably going to have to bring those sweepers up as well, but I think that'll be fairly late on, because a couple of blows past them reach the boundary, and it'll be done and dusted even more quickly. Jordan Thompson looks like he's just keeping loose as well, as Hill is in bowling here to Potts. So just 1 slip for those who can't see the pictures. Finley Bean is at gully. There is Jordan Thompson winging his arms around backward of point in the deep. Big gap through the covers with Don Bess a little bit more extra coverish on the wicket ends. Shan Masood is at mid-off. Mickey Edwards mid-on has just lobbed the ball back to George Hill. David Milan is in a catching position at a straight mid-wicket, probably about 15, 16 yards from the bat. There's a man in front of square leg, and then a long leg. Matthew Revis, as Hill's latest delivery was a better one, and that's pushed into the offside by Potts.
It's like a little bit of cloud bubbling up to the west, doesn't it?
It does.
17 to Matthew Potts from 63 deliveries. 37 for Ben Rain from 82. George Hill has 1 for 38. He's probably bowled better than his figures suggest in this innings. Got 4 for in the first. He's bowling over the wicket here. There's an appeal, but it's even with Ben Rain standing in my line of view at the non-striking end. That just felt like it was going down the leg side.
Hi, Marty and the gang, says Paul. Greetings from a fairly sunny and warmish Costadale Hartlepool. Exciting finish to the match. I think substitutes should be allowed in cases of injury and illness. Like for like only, as in other sports, and if a player is struck on the helmet, he should retire hurt, and a head injury assessment should be carried out off the field to speed up the over rate. I would like to take the opportunity to thank you and the gang for the excellent commentary. Come on, Durham.
Hill in again and flicked off the legs by Potts. Fisher gets down and gets something on it, which is enough to deter them from thinking about a second. But a 50-run partnership for the 9th wicket. Now, Durham's last stand in the first innings was a belter as well.
It was 54 between Patel and Delaya.
Yep. And Yorkshire, saying it's a massive problem and that you talk about it all the time or anything, but they have had a little bit of a history of one of the wickets in the last 2 or 3 yielding quite a lot and just searching for that wicket.
Masood's making some field changings here. Jordan Thompson looks like he's coming in off the point, off the deep square leg boundary, seeing as Rain is on strike. Revis looks like he's heading round to deep cover.
Does that say 23 runs there?
Yeah, 23 to win.
Hill round the wicket into Rain. He's got an outshot there, and if George is going to bowl it just outside off stump, as Ben Rain has just done, he can open the face and push it in the general direction of the sweeper and know that it's just an easy single. So
he'll take that all day.
Yeah, he'd set the man back, hadn't he, at long leg, as if he was going to bowl it straighter than that, just in case he got clipped in that direction. And in the end, neither happens. It's a little bit too wide. It's only about fourth stump, but wide enough to push a one. And when you've only got 22 now runs needed to win, everything counts.
Well, these two can't break the 9th wicket record for Durham against Yorkshire, because that's 94 runs, Liam Plunkett and Callum Thorpe at Headingley in 2011. But this has been very, very useful indeed from a Durham point of view.
I see it all the time with England Test team as well. Everyone's talking about how the lower order wickets are the hardest to come around.
Yeah.
New over, Fisher around the stumps at the far end, bowling to Rain, who just defends this one.
This is, of course, Yorkshire's 18th match now since they last won. I think you've got to also say that within that time they had a game completely washed out. So do you count that? Is it 17 in a washed out game?
When was the previous abandonment? Was that Essex? Was it
the statisticians say? Yeah, that was 2018.
Yeah, well, you didn't play that game with it's washed out, did you? So really it's 17, I suppose. Fisher again to Rain. It's gone down the leg side, taken by Bairstow. Rain on 38, Potts on 18.
But just like any county would in that situation, you do start to wonder where the next win is coming from. So I think this would be a massive sort of flip for Yorkshire. Yeah, if they could get across the line here. Yeah, and if they don't,
it's a massive. It's a huge swing both ways.
I saw Otis Gibson in the car park this morning and I said, what do you think? And he said, well, why are either going to take 2 wickets or Durham are going to score 33 runs? In comes the bowler. That's drilled back past him by Rain, but stopped by Masood. And he said, it's right there in front of us.
Well, the longest run in county championship cricket without a win for Yorkshire is 20 in the 2008-9 across those 2 seasons. And this is now the second longest at 17, 16 without a win in 1989-90.
They went down as champions the last time they were here in this division, didn't they? 2011, was it?
Yeah.
Fisher to Rain. Rain takes a couple of little steps across his crease and plays that up to Masood. No run. Did they go down as champions the time before that? Was it 2001 or something? No, 2?
They won it in 2001. I don't remember if they went down the following year or was it 2 years on. I was at Scarborough that day, 2001.
I remember when they won it in 2001. I was jogging along the seafront at Seaburn listening to Kevin Howells on 5 Live as Yorkshire won the title. Back in the days when I used to go for a run. Fisher to Rain. This is defended, runs up to Masood.
Yeah, the emailer who said, do Yorkshire need a new fitness coach? Ken, I think it was. Commentators could do with a we could do the fitness coach.
Oh. Derek says, a nice win for Alnmouth and Lesbury thirds versus Seaton Burn yesterday. The ladies are playing Annick today, so Ellie, Rebecca and Melanie are all playing. So T for 6. But at the moment, it's Durham he's concentrating on. Go well, ladies, up in Northumberland. Fisher to Rain. Rain again defends. Ball runs out the offside. And it's picked up by Thompson, and that is a maiden over.
Richard Robinson is tuned in, the groundsman at Headingley. He's taken over head groundsman's duties this year, and he's sent me a WhatsApp message saying, bigger crowd here, just watching me water. He's at Headingley, and of course today it's the Rob Burrow Marathon, which has set off from there. Saw the pictures of them all heading off earlier on. Good luck to everybody who's taking part, and what a great cause, I've got to say. Just a phenomenal bloke. He was my favourite player for the Leeds Rhinos in that golden generation, as he called it, when they won loads of trophies. The little fella, 5'5", taking on some of those big guys. And obviously, so unfair life, isn't it, sometimes, what has happened to Rob. So, got to wish everybody well, and also all those connected with Rob and his family and all of that. Fantastic cause. Shame that not able to be there. Here's Jordan Thompson then taking over from George Hill at the Finkel end. The man that makes things happen. And he really does. He's needed in that respect here. His first delivery has just dropped out into the offside by Potts. There is no run. Somebody told me to patent that yesterday.
Is this the second marathon in Leeds in a week? Because wasn't the one last week as well?
Yeah.
Think so.
Sports Extra listeners might recall that I'll tell you why, in case you don't know. Here's Jordan Thompson in and bowling, and Potts pushes that out to Masood, and there's no run. It was because the car park F at Headingley, which is the one that they stick the media in right out the back of the rugby league ground by the little bridge, was closed on the Sunday for some reason. And so one or two moments in the press room, close it. What are we going to do for parking? Usual stuff.
Park in the street opposite.
And I just totally incorrectly, knowing that the marathon was sometime in May, said it could be the Rockborough Marathon. They might be using it for that. As
lovely
good delivery and a great shot. This is possibly the first. It is the first boundary of the morning, and that is a beauty from Matthew Potts. Jordan Thompson has hurt his right arm, his right shoulder, by the looks of it, and may have dislocated.
Oh my God!
Now, I've done that before myself. I really have, and I know how painful this is. Jordan is going through agonies at this moment in time. That is terrible, and he's out of kilter. Oh, dear me, the poor fella, because he's just dived to try and stop that off his own bowling, such a wholehearted player. And that's that for him as far as this match, and probably a while is concerned. As I say, I've been there and done that, and it is so painful. So we're going to have a lengthy stoppage here by the looks of things at 18 minutes past 11. 18 runs needed by Durham, 2 wickets needed by Yorkshire. But when you see something like that, all of that feels like it's secondary to a moment like this, and I hope he's going to be okay. Credit to the Yorkshire physio who's out there, like Usain Bolt, to apply some treatment here, and you can see him now if you're watching the stream, and if you can't, he's laid on his back, Jordan Thompson. He's just kicked his right leg up in the air, and I think that was just the agony of whatever treatment has been administered. We can't now see him because of the players and the official in our eye line between the commentary position and the out there. Well, that is awful. I did it as well in a fielding practice one night where a ball bounced awkwardly in front of me, and I tried to readjust and landed on the shoulder without being able to break the fall, and it came out, and it's a shocker.
The problem is as well is when it happens, it can keep happening. So you end up with a weakness there. Last year, who was the captain last year in the T20? He did it. Ashton Turner diving in for a quick single at Northants, second T20 match of the season, and when he sat up, his shoulder was pointing in the wrong direction, and it had apparently happened to him a number of times, and that really had a massive impact on Durham's T20 campaign. I remember a few years ago here against Sussex, and the outfield was really hard, and the Sussex overseas player, was a Pakistan bowler I think at the time, tried to stop a ball on the boundary, and he went down, and he couldn't get up, he couldn't pick himself up, and they had to bring an ambulance onto the field for him. Well, thankfully Thompson's sitting up now and looks a lot better than he did a moment or two ago, and his arm's back in the right place by the looks of things as well, but I would imagine he'll have to leave the field now and go to hospital.
Yeah,
he's up on his he's getting back to his feet now.
If it's anything like the one I had, because he's going to need some serious painkillers there.
I remember commentating on a Sunderland game at Arsenal a few years ago, and Thomas Sorensen, the goalie, went in to catch a ball from a corner and dislocated his elbow, and he had to be taken to hospital to have that sorted out.
So there's some discussion taking place.
Where is he? Is he gonna?
It looks like he's going to carry on.
No way.
You're joking. Surely he's got to go off.
Dear me, he's wringing the hand as well.
He's not going to continue, is he?
Well,
I gotta say, from the angle that we saw when he was lying, it looked absolutely horrific.
Yeah, he's well, he's going to carry on. So if he can't have dislocated.
He's been looking at his finger the entire time, so it would make sense. But kind of looking at it live, you feared for a lot worse.
Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious, mate! Here he is, Jordan Thompson on the Finkel end, and his next delivery, having gone for 4 with that ball, has been laid out backward of point.
He's got a limp as well. I'm very shocked that,
he's got a single there, as Matty Potts. So 17 needed, as if it wasn't dramatic enough having a final hour finish.
There's been a lot of stoppages in this game, hasn't there? We've had a number of concussions and ankle injury.
So Jordan switching round the wicket. Still can't believe we're watching him run up to bowl here after what it looked like. And that's flicked off the legs by Rain, and it's going to be 4. So, ... 414.
I think this is the over. They'll look back at it as the game swinging away from Yorkshire's, balance towards Durham's.
Yeah, 12 runs to tie the match.
Rain moves into the 40s.
Rain on to 42, Rob says, and 1 to come in this over. It'd be just like Jordan Thompson to uproot middle stump at this point, having seen an over like this. Can he do it? In he comes, round the wicket, not with this delivery, round about leg stump and work down to fine leg. He's been moved round quite a bit finer now. And so an excellent over as far as Durham are concerned. A bit of a shocking over at one stage, but Jordan Thompson managed to get through that. 10 off the over, though. 3 for 50 off 13 for him. Just 12 runs needed, and Yorkshire, as they needed when we turned up this morning, still want 2 wickets.
Ant Waterson said one word for that, minging. Hope the bowler isn't too badly hurt. Well, he's back up. But Scott Parkinson says on the stream it looked like it was his finger and not his shoulder that he'd hurt.
Because from the angle that we immediately
The angle we were at, he was lying and his arm was out at a really peculiar angle, and it looked like his shoulder had gone.
Yeah.
That was what we were looking at. So then, 234 for 8 here on the BBC. As a new over start. Oh, I thought he'd edged that behind there. That was an optical illusion. The ball just seemed to be hanging in the air, and for a second I thought it was going straight to the keeper's gloves, and then when it landed, it was going in the opposite direction.
I'm looking forward to our commentator's composure course, which when is that? When is that due, Marty? The BBC will have one, won't they? They have a course for just about everything.
Robbie Stoker says it was a finger problem as well. Thanks for that. Fisher bowling to Rain. Rain turns this off towards square leg. 1 run. Land comes in off the boundary to field it.
The way this game's gone, you still wouldn't put past another wicket between now and the runs required.
I did somewhat tease yesterday that this game was, the way it's gone, would have been set up for Durham to be down to about 5 to win, and an LBW decision to go Yorkshire's way, and Bryden Cast having to stride out with 5 to win,
and then smacks a 6 straight over.
William,
this is the thing. We now don't know if Cast is.
Well, William asked, have Durham won a match by a wicket before? They've done it twice. Once at Lords in 1998 and once in Somerset in 2004. Fisher to Potts, and that's played back to the bowler.
And Yorkshire have won a match by 1 run, because I commentated on that against Northants a couple of seasons ago. That was the first time that had happened. They have tied, as you said yesterday, on a couple of previous occasions, and they've won by 2 runs, but I don't think they'd won by a run before that.
I don't think Durham have tied a match, have they? Don't think they have.
So last time,
they haven't. The page is blank.
Yorkshire's last tie was, you said 1972, didn't you? At Park Avenue.
Or was it 72, 73?
Something like 72, 73, yeah. So
I think the last tied match was about 4 years ago, wasn't it? Fisher into Potts. Potts turns this towards mid-wicket. A good diving stop.
Is that Thompson in there? It is.
Wow, he's still throwing himself around. He's a bionic man, Steve Austin.
Because
we can rebuild him.
We don't know what sort of state Bryden Cast is in to bat, whether he can bat normally. If he can, I presume he's going to have a runner with him.
Well, let's hope he's not needed. I don't think it's a running issue. It's a muscle issue. 11 to win. Fisher 2 Potts. Ooh, shortish ball. Potts just rocks out the rubber. He left his bat dangling there for a moment or two. Did you say he was all right last night? Did you say? He'd been on the Ventanox or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Gas in there.
I had plenty of Nurofen.
Yeah, Yorkshire's 2 tied matches in first-class cricket have been against Leicestershire in 1954 at Fartown in Huddersfield, so they've both been in Yorkshire, and also Park Avenue 1973 against Middlesex.
Yeah, I thought it was 73. 50 years ago, eh? Fisher to Potts. Defends. Ball skids in low. You think of anything else that happened in 73, Doiji? No, nothing? Nothing springs to mind?
Yeah, Leeds lost a cup final to AC Milan 1-0, and the referee...
Yeah, the referee was terrible,
line.
wasn't he? Yeah, that's right. I thought that's what you would say. A number of other people said, yes, it was definitely the finger. Captain Cook says, another excellent pitch produced by the Durham ground staff. Well, it's been a corking contest, hasn't it? And it's been a wicket where, as we've mentioned a number of times, a really competitive wicket. There's a lot in it for the bowlers, for the batsmen. They've had to graft hard. And as we've said, if the ball's got your name on it, Mr. and Mrs. Doodlebug, the old joke, then there's been some grubbers. There's been a few inside edges.
11 to win. Jordan Thompson to continue at the Finkel end, bowling here to the left-handed Ben Rain. Still a slip in place. They've got to have some form of attack if they get the nick, and Milan fields this one that's whipped to leg. Let's have a quick look through the scores elsewhere as well. Down at Edgbaston, Warwickshire beat Essex by 4 wickets. At Old Trafford, Somerset 171 runs in front in their second innings at 136 for 3. Middlesex are 142 for 4 at the Oval against Surrey. That's a deficit of 29 runs at this stage.
Lovely shot.
And Thompson in. That's again with an open face. Ben Rain picks out the easy. Well, 1 is made into 2 now. Matthew Revis having to run quite a way around the boundary to field that. So down to single figures. At Northampton, well, of course, Notts beat Northampton by an innings and 25 runs, as you'll know. At Canterbury, Kent are 83 without loss in their second innings, trailing by 195 runs. Having been shot out for 95 first time around, but still plenty of time for Hampshire to work on taking those 10 wickets. At Derby, Derbyshire made 251 for 9 declared. Gloucestershire 208 for 5, trail by 43 runs. And what else have we got for you? Of course, Glamorgan beat Worcester by 10 wickets. And also the game at Leicester between Sussex and Leicestershire as Thompson is in and Rain pushes into the onside for Milan to field. And the second time around, following on, Leicestershire are 36 without loss, trailing by 124 runs. So again, a potential result possible on day 4 there. So some certainly plenty of interest still on day 4 in a number of county championship games.
At this rate, Marty's is the closest to getting a prediction right. 11:34.
Yeah, 5 minutes away. 3 balls in this over, 9 runs needed. Jordan Thompson driven down the ground, this time by Rain, who struck it well, but unfortunately for Matthew Potts, it struck him at the non-striking end.
At the bottom of his bat. Otherwise, that would look like it was going to run away to the fence.
Mm-hmm. Martin Wiggum says this is an excellent advert for the county game. Come on, Durham.
So no change in that field. They're going with what they've got.
It's been this way for about, it feels like the last 30 overs.
Yeah, Thompson in again. Pushed into the offside. He's found a gap between cover and mid-off. Mickey Edwards has got round to field it, but once more well supported by Matthew Potts. Ben Rain has got Durham back for another 2 runs. They're down to 7 needed. And there is 1 ball left in this over.
There's a big black cloud drifted right across the top of us as well.
It looks like they've tried.
Could that be another twisty turny pitch?
It looks like Durham have tried to take the new ball out of the equation. Just coming towards the end of the 77th over here. Looks like they've tried to get it knocked off before there's any threat.
Or new ball.
Thompson in again. It's wide of off stump and it's driven through the offside square this time by Rain. Revis is out there to sweep up.
One
that
hit
is the
away.
end of, well, who knows? It could be the penultimate over. Just 6 runs needed. 77 overs bowled in this Durham second innings. They're 240 for 8. They need 6 runs to win the match. Yorkshire still need 2 wickets. Either is possible, but Durham very much the favourites now. The way this morning has gone.
Bet on now. 6 to win.
I don't think, seeing as Rain is on 49, I don't think he's gonna take any. 6 to win. Rain on 49. Potts on 23. These two have put together nearly 70.
Right, he's had 14 50s, Rain, and 100. And this will be one of the most important if he gets there.
He had a 50 against Worcestershire here, I think, earlier this season.
Yeah, he got a century last year against them. As bowler comes round the wicket, he defends this one. Stephen Johnson's emailed, "Morning, I'm lying by the pool in Dubai and have just tuned in. Sounds like I've missed a great game of cricket and some decent weather. I'm loving the way Durham are playing their cricket this season. Keep up the great work." I could tell you a Dubai holiday story, Doidgy, if you want one.
Why not? Did you go with Cliff Mitchellmore on this one?
Yes, Gloria Hunniford was there as well. Actually, I did sit next to Gloria Hunniford at a test match in Antigua. She was there with the Lord's Taverners and Ainsley Harriet. Was it the chef Ainsley Harriet? Was it?
Yeah,
he was there, and the guy who used to do that show live from Norwich. What was that called again? The big show in the 70s and the 80s. Was it Nicholas? And
Delia Smith?
Just a minute. Used to present that. Fisher's brought a short mid-on in here. It's played by Nicholas Parsons. That was it. He was there as well, yeah.
Yeah, Slip's been taken out. Lythe has gone to that.
What was the programme called?
Mid-off.
Maybe Emma, with 6 to win, it might just be the time to concentrate on play out there, perhaps.
I am concentrating on play out there. Lythe's come out of the slips and he's gone in a silly mid-off position. And they've got a short mid-wicket. They've got a short extra cover. A gully. Rain on strike. Slower ball. He plays it back to the bowler, Fisher. And the new ball is still going to be 2.5 overs away here. And it's got really... There's a lot of big black clouds just drifted in right from the west, right on top of us now. Sun's gone in. Listen to that out there. Tension.
Hear a pin drop.
Fisher back to his mark. Comes in, right arm around from the Lumley end. And that's pulled down the leg side and they're appealing for a catch. I don't think they believe in any of this appealing that they're doing, and the umpire says no.
Hot enough moment there.
David Coleman says, whatever happens today, they'll be done in time for you and Yorkshire to make it back to West Yorkshire and join 20,000 of us at Bradford City at 7 p.m. tonight for League Two playoff semi-final first leg.
Who they're playing?
Carlisle, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, Jamie Rayner's already sent me a message. Jamie will be commentating on that tonight for BBC Radio Leeds. Morning to you, Jamie.
I know 2 people who have a vested interest in that. The Durham bowler, Stanley McAlinden, and his dad, Mark. As Fisher comes in. And this is played by Rain up to mid-on. They're from Carlisle. Robbie Stoker's emailed. He says, when it rains, it pots in Durham. A great stand. Clever.
Very good.
Sale of the century, says David Bennett. Yes, that was it. Dan Norcross says quiz of the week. It was also something he...
All of this is just flying straight over the top of my head.
Well, yeah. Still 6 to win. This has been a maiden so far as Fisher comes in again. Rain ducks out of a short one, and it is a maiden. So 11:35. So I'm a minute bust on my prediction.
I've got 10 minutes for mine. 11:45.
What did you say, Jonathan?
I didn't.
No. I know Harry upstairs, I think, said 12:15.
But I can tell you, by the way, you can dine out on this for the rest of the day, if you like, Marty, that you were correct yesterday. The extra half hour was taken at 6:43, not the 6:44 that I wrote down, because the scorers told me that.
Right.
There you go. So
I
content yourself with that. You've got one up on
I don't take any joy in that at all.
Sean Bess, as called for.
Tim called it.
Yeah, by Tim.
Mark McAlinden says, yes, what a day this could be. Durham, Sun and United get through tonight with an all to play for.
So
it'll be Potts on strike. The leg side, there's three fielders inside the ring. It's got Mickey Edwards has come back to deep long off, and there's a man on the deep cover boundary. Cow corner is an option if Potts fancies it. Lythe is in its slip. Masood's gone to a slightly deepish mid-on, is in conversation with Bess. Thompson at a short cover, and believe that's Fisher at backward point.
How much
the last home game, Poss hit a 6 over the roof of the health club to get Durham
maximum batting points for declaration against Derbyshire.
Best of
Potts. Are you saying Potts is going to do the same thing, just at a different end?
No,
come flying towards us.
if there's a wicket, if Cars could come out and do the same thing again.
Are the windows shatterproof, do you think?
I hope they are.
They're double glazed.
Best then. Potts, who's driven into the offside. They're going to take on Masood, who had to go back and to his left to field it, and they've got through for 1. 5 needed, 4 for the time. Marty, you better take over here. I think one blow could finish it.
Mervyn says the hardest part about this is being able to bite my toenails because the finger ones have gone. That's the nervousness that Mervyn's feeling right now. So, 5 to win then. 241 for 8. What an incredible game this has been. Yorkshire ended up with a 27-run lead at the end of the first innings and then bowled out yesterday for 218, set Durham 246 to win. They were 109 for 2 at tea and then lost 6 for 47 in 15 overs. The game turned on its head. Then these two came out last night, batted sensibly, restored a bit of calm. The partnership 68 from 159 balls. Rain has 49 from 105. And the other end, it's Potts on 24 from 74. And one swing of the bat could do it now for Durham. Came back this morning, needing 33 to win. Yorkshire needing 2 wickets.
I've got 28 of those 33. And there's the man now been put in round the corner for Rain. Adam Lythe's just been chatting away non-stop as they changed the field and ran off and get an extra helmet.
Put in a leg slip. Lythe's up first slip. Bessie's going to come round the wicket. There's one man out at deep square leg. There's 3 on the offside. Rain defends. A little bit of a drift of that one from Bess.
I wonder if what Tim said is, I wonder if he will toss one up, seeing as Rain is on 49. Can he resist the temptation?
Bess is bowling round the wicket from the Finkel end. And Rain dabs that one up to Masood at mid-on, no run.
Forever Domo asks what happened to Jordan Thompson. He was in the car when we described it as a dislocated shoulder because it looked like that from the angle we were at. Forever Domo, it really did.
It
but it was
one of
the
those
finger,
ones.
I think, instead, so he was able to carry on.
Rain forward to this one and defends.
It was purely on instinct that Jordan Thompson, when it looked a lot worse and it ended.
It was the way he was lying and his arm was just stiff out to his side.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it had locked and he couldn't.
Like I say, it looked like potentially elbow as well, but fortunately it was just a dislocated finger. Just popped back in.
Bess in again. Oh, that skids in low and Rain keeps it away at the last moment. Bess has got his hands on his head. Bowling in his sunglasses with his tipped hair.
Durham dressing room looks reasonably relaxed at the minute. I can't make out any visible nervous.
Nobody's moving.
Yeah.
Bess in again. He bowls. Rain drives. He's got his 50. It's gone out through the covers. What an excellent knock this has been from him. It's come in 110 balls and included 3 4s. And wow, what does this mean for Durham?
Perfectly timed from Rain, coming together with Potts. These two have put on nigh on 70 now, and it couldn't have come at a more perfect time. Losing 2 in 2, bringing Potts out to the crease. These two have really steadied, and Rain has been more of the aggressor, but has played comfortably and has taken forth everything that Yorkshire have thrown at him, pardon me, and has now taken Durham to the brink of victory. Just 4 runs required. From a selfish point of view, I've got 5 minutes on my prediction.
Well, after all, it is all about that, Rob. It is all about that.
I went into the members' room to get a bacon sandwich this morning, and a lady said, "I've put 4 hours on the car park." And I said, "What for?"
4 hours?
Yes.
She's not
I said, "What are you
clearly not
expecting
Yorkshire.
to happen?"
It was 90 minutes, most. That's including wrapping up after.
Here's Fisher bowling 2, Potts 4 needed, and Potts, that was in the air momentarily. You've got a short extra cover and a silly mid-off there, and it went between the two of them.
Rain on strike after.
Sorry, rain on strike, yeah. Rain on strike.
There is a sweeper out on the leg. There's 2 on the leg side. I think is that Revis down below us to our right?
It is.
And then
Jordan Thompson's out.
Deep mid wicket.
Yeah, deep backward square, really, isn't he?
It's one on the point boundary over there.
George Hill.
George Hill. He's lonely. He's in acres of land. He's back to the pavilion. Fisher then round the wicket from the Lumley end to Rain. Rain plays this one short to mid-on. Dug it out there. It was quite a full-length delivery, that one.
4 to win, 4 balls, new ball can be taken. Would you?
Yeah, you've got nothing to lose.
No.
You have absolutely nothing to lose. You're going to lose the game at this rate, so you might as well see if you can get something. Who knows if we even get to there?
The new ball can go to the boundary quicker than the old ball can, so bear that in mind. There's a couple of gulls above us, and the sky is so dark, they're really obvious, the white gulls, with that black background.
See if we can get to that new ball.
Fisher in, bowls. Rain defends. Runs up to mid-on again.
It feels like one of those who's going to blink first type of moments at this stage, doesn't it? Are the 2 batters who've played superbly, it's got to be said so far, absolutely superbly, are they going to tighten up because they're within a shot? And there's only 2 wickets left, and it's an injured player to come in? Or will it be the Yorkshire bowlers who do that?
That cloud is very menacing. Hopefully it stays away.
Fisher to Rain. Rain, it's come off the pads. Lyde's appealing for LBW. The bowler isn't. It's gone for a leg by. 3 needed.
Absolutely plumb.
That was my LBW thing I talked about earlier. That was the one. Potts with 2 deliveries left in the over. He's on 24. Fisher coming to complete his 22nd over in his second innings.
It's a Fred boycott. It's not over yet, Marty Cricket, he said. Yeah, it's different points for a tie, isn't it? I think it's 8. For the team batting second, I can't remember. Fisher's now coming over the wicket to Potts, who leaves that one alone. The new ball is one delivery away.
Marvellous. I'd have taken that hip-rooted middle stump twice. Been all over. 2-run win.
Final ball before the new ball can be taken of Yorkshire. Fancy it, Durham 3 from victory.
Fisher, he's got a silly mid-off, he's got a short wicket, got a gully, bowls to Potts. Potts turns it off towards mid-wicket. And they're going to run 2 here, are they? No, 1. Ooh.
There was never 2.
They could have
there was never 2 there.
Gone for 2 there and tied the game. Now then, new ball is available.
They're taking it.
And they need 2 to win.
Not only are they taking it, they're running off the field.
George Hill is sprinted from long leg or deep or third man he was for Potts in that over. He's absolutely legged it to get the new cherry, and Durham just 2 away from a victory. Fortunately, my prediction is also bust.
George Hill is coming on with the new ball then, after that over from Don Bess. And Paul Baldwin holds the new ball up for all to see that it has been taken. So 2 runs to win. 1 then for the scores to be tied. And Yorkshire still needing those 2 wickets. May there be a final twist to this twisty-turny game of county championship cricket.
More twists and turns in a game of Twister.
Durham dressing room is still looking quite settled.
They're not going to move because they're all superstitious.
They're all in very similar positions.
Yeah, they're not going to move.
I think, the protocol has been established.
Right, here's Hill, and Potts is on strike. He bowls. Potts pushes this one to the cover area. Dot ball.
Tim's saying he's got cramp. I mean, you've been in that same position probably since you walked in last night.
It's going to limp round to the gym now. Wow, this is tense, isn't it? That cloud is sitting right on top of us now as well.
Masood is coming for a conference of sorts. There are 2 slips and a gully in because Yorkshire have to get these 2 wickets. They've got to do something, and he's moving long leg in.
Thought he might have been saying to George, I think you should go ask for a ball change.
That would have been. I think that would have been the quickest one on record.
Here is the bowler. Potts on strike. Oh, he's out. Surely there's out. He's got him, LBW. He's out, LBW. New ball, second delivery. And Durham need 2 to win. Potts has gone for 25.
I called it.
It's the hope that kills you, isn't it?
71 the partnership.
I called the LBW decision with about 5 to win. It's coming at 2 down. 2 to win. Potts has missed one. It struck him on the back pad, and he's looks as if he's absolutely plumb in front. And we've been talking about it for the best part of the last hour and a bit on comms that we've been on. Bryden Cast is coming out with Scott Borthwick as a runner for him. And Durham are now 2 away, but have now got just the final pair. The Potts receives a very nice hand as he walks off for a hard-earned 25. Would have been nice to see how the job. Gets a nice pat on the back from his skipper as he walks back up to the dressing room. And now, as we've all been kind of waiting for this final twist and turn, it has arrived in Cam Bryden Cast, batting a trunk injury described by the club, and it looks like, according to Ryan Campbell speaking at the end of play yesterday, he'll be out for a period of time after this game. Looks like he's going to have to be the hero.
Well, no surprise that we have this situation because it's just been this sort of a game.
And this is county cricket at its absolute finest.
Yeah. What a tremendous game.
Hit him on the back pad, he didn't get forward enough to it.
All sorts of things that both teams will look at in terms of how they got to this position, that the losing side, whoever it may be, will obviously look at 1 or 2 things more maybe than the side who come out on top. Here we go.
He'll ball through that right pass off the hand, and he's shaking his right hand furiously there. That spat up at him.
Should we do alternate deliveries maybe?
I don't know.
You know, I know we might just drop lucky with the... Okay, I'll do this one.
I'll fade into the background.
John says he's glad his flight to Frankfurt has been delayed so he can listen in the airport.
Well, hopefully it's a good listen. Here is George Hill wide of Bryden Cast, his off stump on his shoulders, arms. Want to be careful there, Bryden, shoulder and arms, because you've got a side strain. That might just be hurting a little bit too much.
Borthwick is well off to Cast's leg side. He's having a chat with the square leg umpire, and I think that's Revis he's also having a chat with. Got to try and not get confused if they set off a run and Cast just stand still.
Over to you, Marty.
Here he comes. Cast leaves it. If the scores are equal in a drawn match where play has taken place, the side batting in the 4th innings scores 8 points plus any points scored as bonuses. The opposing side scores 5 points plus any points and bonuses.
Plus bonus points. So
if this was to finish in a tie, Durham would get 8 points and Yorkshire would get 5.
Well, Yorkshire would get 9 because they have their 4 bonus points.
Yeah, but they would get 5 for the draw.
Yeah.
Whereas Durham would get 8 for the tie. It's a strange one, that, isn't it?
Field has closed in then. Tight ring. Here's George Hill bowling to Bryden Cast, who's got it away. Down through third man. That's 1. They're coming back for a second with the runners. And Jordan Thompson gives up the chase. And Durham have won it.
What a game of cricket.
Durham win a game of 4-day cricket by 1 wicket at 11:50 on the final morning. The new ball and George Hill had something to say about that 9th wicket stand, but couldn't prevent the home side getting across the line in those final moments. A tremendous game, as I say. The team who come out on the losing side, in this case Yorkshire, who still haven't won a game since the first match of 2022 against Gloucestershire down at Bristol. There'll be a few little things that they'll be looking at here as to why they have not got across the line again. They gave themselves a big opportunity with some excellent bowling yesterday, but you can only praise Ben Raine and Matthew Potts, who came together in a very, very tricky situation as far as Durham were concerned. They were the underdogs at that point, and they batted with great sense, I think, yesterday evening and again this morning. And in that 50 minutes of play, they have brought about a result that will keep Durham right up there pitching at the top of the Division 2 table. And Yorkshire, who, a reminder, started shorter than 2-1 with the bookmakers to win this Division 2 championship this season, winless. And not only winless, but they've now lost 2 of their matches in the competition so far this season. And that's got to be a massive disappointment.
Well, that last shot, by the way, was a 2. Graham's just pointing out because they'd ran the 2 to complete the win before the ball crossed the line. But what a game of cricket that's been. I'm shaking here. We've just sat and watched a game of cricket, not been in it. Could you imagine the adrenaline that must have been flowing through the veins of those players out there?
Well, I guess I've been there and done that with the Northampton game a couple of years ago, so it was quite a relaxing experience in that sense for me, I've got to say. It was tense enough, but it's been just a great game to call once again. And we talked about the twists and turns. Yorkshire, I mean, just to summarise the match, Marty, Yorkshire win the toss, decide to bat first with an for a Division 2 side. That's an international batting lineup, isn't it? By any standards. They start the game, of course, with Adam Lyth at the top of the order and Shan Masood. They then have the likes of Saud Shakil, who unfortunately, of course, got injured and missed with concussion. The second innings, Finlay Bean being brought in, David Milan, Johnny Bairstow, George Hill, still a quality player in the middle order, Matthew Revis, and a tail that can also bat. And they came out with 254 all out, which we were saying throughout that innings, or probably I was, that it felt like it was on the low side. Shan Masood pretty much admitted to that at the end of day one and said that if you win the toss and bat first, you want to come out with a minimum of 300. But then their riposte was to bowl really well, one of the better Yorkshire bowling performances of the season, to get Durham to 173 for 9 first time around. But then the tail wagging again. Basta Leda with 22 not out and Ajaz Patel 34. Got a quick 50 or so between them for the final wicket, and from a stage where Yorkshire were around about 80 in front with the 9th wicket down, they then ended up with that first innings lead of just 27 runs, and you did wonder how much of an influence that final wicket would have. Yorkshire got to bat second time. Adam Lyth out first ball of the innings, his first pair in 10 years. After that one against Middlesex back in 2013. Shan Masood made just the 10, and Finlay Bean, well, he hung around for a while for 22, but they kept losing wickets at fairly regular intervals until they were all out for 218 second time around. Credit, of course, to George Hill for being the only player in the Yorkshire side to score a half century in either innings, and he bowled superbly as well. 4 wickets in the Durham first innings and 2 again in the second innings, and he'd be kind of Yorkshire's POM, I guess, in this match without much question. And then second time around, well, Yorkshire loose with the ball at the start. Durham get off to a flyer. Alex Lees, 38 off 37 deliveries. Things change quite considerably after he's out when the score's on 47. Everything getting slowed down. And Yorkshire hitting back with the ball with that spell from Matthew Fisher yesterday afternoon. Talking points about some of those LBW decisions. Jordan Thompson chipped in with a couple of wickets. We find ourselves this morning 33 to win for Durham. After that extra half hour last night worked more in their favour. 20 odd more runs and no wickets for Yorkshire. Yorkshire still needing the 2 wickets. They get one of those right at the death. But Durham have got home. And in a game like this, I think, you've got to say it's a 4-day game of cricket, deservedly so, if you manage to just tip those scales, however well balanced they are, in your favour. And thank goodness there was no controversy about the last little bit of play there after some controversies during the match. Fantastic game of county championship cricket, as I say. Yorkshire, well, I'm sure Otis Gibson will be telling me in his post-match interview in a few minutes' time that they've been competitive again, which they have. But they've come out on the wrong end for the second time this season, having lost that first match against Leicestershire. Very frustrating times for the county at the moment. And they've got a few weeks now to sort of lick their wounds and try and get themselves back on the horse for their match at Chesterfield in June, which will be the next championship match for Yorkshire with T20 cricket to come. But Durham, you've got to be very pleased with that first raft of championship matches. I know you've got another game next week as well, which could really kick you on if you can beat Glamorgan, who are clearly a decent side themselves.
Gloucestershire.
Gloucestershire.
Yeah.
Apologies.
I think, without wanting to pour cold water on this current event, I don't think Durham have won at Bristol before, so that'll be an interesting one.
Yep. But you've got plenty to look forward to, I think, for the rest of the season, and Yorkshire have got it all to do.
Well, Middlesex at Lords 1998, Somerset in Taunton 2004, and Yorkshire in Chester Street today. The 3 games in which Durham have won a county championship match by 1 wicket. It was nervous, it was tense, it was a knife edge, and what a morning of cricket. I think we... what time they finished? About 10-2, wasn't it? So 50 minutes worth of action. Lydia Jane says, who says county cricket's dull? She said, what a match. Love this team. Sir Fred Boycott says runners shouldn't be allowed.
And I've written down, talk about a commentator's composure course and not being particularly nervous at the end there. I've written down in my book, 246 all out. Was that just wishful thinking?
Morgan Basanko says it was never in doubt. Lots of other tweets coming through. Just looking down the list here. Anyway, we're coming up now with the midday news. So I imagine that I would have been recording the report for the midday news rather than doing it live, but I'll hang around for that now. Paul Stokes says superb win, that one. Of course, it cements Durham's spot at the top of the table as well. What a game, says Katie. Durham win by 1 wicket with injured Cars at the crease. Thanks, Jonathan and Martin, for the great commentary. I can't wait for the reverse fixture in Scarborough. I'm hoping to be there in person. Well, it'd be lovely to see you. David says, brilliant. Alan Cunningham, what a game. Last 2 days have been absolutely riveting. Sir Fred Boycott says they were lucky. Thomas says yes, and so on and so on. Ash thought, what a game. And it was a game and a half, wasn't it, indeed? And there's an email here as well from Paul Wilson, which is entitled, Durham victory, yes, get in. Well played for the Durham team, but praise to the Tykes for an excellent game of cricket. And I think you could tell from the reaction from Tim Bostock, the Durham chief executive, at the end there. When they got that winning run, he was absolutely over the moon and ran to the window to celebrate. So that black cloud, by the way, is not moving, and it looks really gloomy here at the moment. Be surprised in the next few minutes.
Hammers it down.
Yeah, and I remember Yorkshire winning here a few years ago, and the weather forecast was appalling on the final day, and Durham were hanging on, and they lost a wicket, and then they lost another. Then the last pair were in, and they were out. Yorkshire won, and then the end of the world came, and within about 3 or 4 minutes, the field was just completely covered in water, and if Durham had held on for about another over, they wouldn't have got back on again, and it would have been a draw.
So, points-wise, where does that leave us? Durham will be 19 points.
I think Durham had 67 this morning from the bonus points from this game. So
they got three bonus points plus the 16 for a win, so 19 points to Durham. I feel like I'm doing the old it's a knockout scoreboard. And they play the joker. And Yorkshire, well, they'll finish with just the 4 points. And in terms of the table, let's see if we can get that up with the current table on screen. Durham 67 points, yeah, as you say, this morning. So stick another 16 on top of that. I'll make that 83. Yorkshire had 33 against their name this morning, and that will remain the same. Still other matches in play. Who knows where they might end up come the end of this match, but they are very firmly down towards the wrong end of the table, and there's already a gap between them and Worcestershire Yorkshire starting this morning in 6th place in Division 2. Worcestershire in 5th were 14 points ahead of them. So there's going to be no change in that respect. And although they've been competitive, they've come out on the wrong end again. Yorkshire supporters will be asking, when is this going to turn back in their favour? It just feels like it's one of those seasons where anything that might go wrong, when it's a 50-50 call, is not quite going their way. So I think, are we done, Martin?
I'm just about to do an update now, and then I'm done, yeah.
I shall say goodbye, and I'll go and speak to Otis Gibson and see what he's got to say about it all.
See you in a couple of weeks' time for the T20, which is a morning affair, 11:30 in the morning in Leeds in about 2 weeks' time, I think it is. So we'll be joining Jonathan for commentary of that one. I'll be doing an update for Radio Newcastle shortly as well. Just what an exciting game of cricket this was. Heroes, Matty Potts and Ben Rain batted and batted and batted. Rain got to his 50, then the new ball came with Durham needing 2 runs to win, and Potts was out LBW for 25. Bryden Cast came out injured with a runner and scored the final 2 wins. So Durham getting across the line to win by 1 wicket, cementing their place at the top of the table. It's only the 3rd time they've won a county championship match by 1 wicket. There'll be a reaction to this one a little bit later, and we'll get some thoughts from the Durham camp shortly. Okay, then we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for joining us this week. Durham back in action on Thursday morning at Bristol. I'll be bringing a commentary of that one, I think with Ed Seaborn. And that game, the BBC commentary is not on the YouTube feed, so you will definitely need to be tuning in to the BBC feed to hear us on that one. But reaction to this on BBC Radio Newcastle and BBC Radio Tees and the Yorkshire stations coming up a little later on.